about, because people on the plane next to me don't understand me. They say, you know, the counter melody is shine on me. It's really, isn't that cool? They go, yeah. So anyway, welcome, and we'll kind of do the same format. I may jump up first, you may jump up first, we'll see. But you have the music, be thinking of things that they're doing wonderfully, and some things that maybe you could add to it. And again, to Ms. Brown, as I said to the band director yesterday, we so appreciate you doing this, because, you know, it takes strong, secure people that are in it for education, not only for them, but for us, to volunteer or be volunteered to do this. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's my honor. I steal a lot of ideas from people, so most of what I do is nothing original. I'll just get that.
Right.
That's prejudice. We're doing the same. Well, and I have a couple of things we'll share with you in a little bit. When we do this piece, we usually like to tell our audience what we are singing about, and sometimes we at some of our concerts we even write narration that goes with some of the pieces and have the children educate the audience about what we're doing. This one has notes that you'll find in the cover of the music. So wait just a minute, Lorna.
The Holocaust is a stunning reminder of the tragic results of residuous and prejudice and hate towards other people. But it is also a reminder that hope held firm will eventually win victorious over the greatest of odds. The following words were inscribed on the walls of a cellar in Cologne, Germany, where Jews were hiding from the Nazis during World War II. Hope was all they had to hold on to. Hope was their only bridge to a brighter tomorrow.
do with that, huh? Pretty nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And I know that all of you are very appreciative of what Mrs. Brown is doing for you. You may not be now, but when you get to be, shall we say, our age or my age, you look back at things when you were your age, and you don't remember a whole lot. You only remember the really good stuff. You remember the teacher that stands out in those 12 years that really made a difference in your life. And you remember some bad stuff too, but you try to forget about that. Okay? But you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. You know? In 50 years, you come back and talk to me. Or when we all get to the next place, come talk to me. And you're going to remember Mrs. Brown for what she did to you, did for you in teaching you about music. You know? You look so smart when you're singing. Why? Because you're singing well. If you weren't singing well, and you've probably done that before too, like when you're learning something and you just don't know what you're doing, you can kind of show that on your faces too. But great, great, great things. I love the way that shine. Okay, that's one of those diphthongs that some of us talked about yesterday, 2 vowels in one syllable. Shining. It wasn't shining, it was shining, shining. And you know what? When you sing it that way, it sounds like shining does. But it sounds like a really great choir singing shining. And love. And I spell love when I'm singing, and when we're singing L-A-W-V, not L-U-H-V. Not love, but love. Say saw. Say it. Say saw. No. Law. That's how we say law. Law. Just like you were saying the word law with a V. Right? So let me just talk about a couple things. And I hesitate to do that. Now, I want you all to notice if we get all this video, we're going to get 6 hours of video to you somehow as follow-up to this, so that when you're back home, you can rewind and look and rewind and look. And everybody, I think, is pretty excited about that, including me, because it's the first time I think it's really going to work. But if we rewound, did anybody notice the gesture that Miss Brown made right before they sang that high E flat? Did you notice anything that she did that really, because as we talked about yesterday, you know, like that coming in on the beat 2, what's the most important beat? Beat 1. And what happened? The baritone sax player came in correctly, right? Because he got 2, 3. But she did something gesturally, which everything we do here, I don't care whether it's with these or with college students, everything we do here has to be meaningful. And if it's not meaningful, okay, then they don't know what to watch that is meaningful. And that's kind of sobering for us, right? I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff when we know everything we do here has to have meaning for them, or they won't know what's meaning and what's not meaning, right? So, and you might remember, but does anybody remember I was watching her on that? Because you know how frightening or insecure you can feel on a high E flat.
That's your first note.
And that's your first note. So what did she do? I know she knows what she did. What did she do to cause them to come in so wonderfully on the breath concept and on pitch and without reaching for the note? What did she do? You remember? We'll play it back when we get this back on, okay? But what she did is she had one hand here, right? And she did this, okay? Because it's a whole different feeling when you're on that side. If somebody goes, right? You go, ah, right? So let's take it from the top again. Stand up, please. And I want to show you the difference between what their reaction is. First of all, I'm going to do it right. Okay? I'm going to try to do it like Mrs. Brown did it, and like I would do it. Because I say, as you recall, the higher the pitch, the lower the gesture. Okay? The higher the pitch, the lower the gesture. Why? Because you want them to come down on the note. You don't want them to reach for the note. If you reach for the note, you'll never get it. Right? I'll demonstrate. Give me that E flat that they come in on. I'm going to show you how it feels different. Okay? Put your right hand here. And I want you to sing your ooh right on that very first note. I'll give you 1, 2, ready, go. And I want you to go and come in. Ready? And as you do it, push down. Ready? 1, 2, ready, and. All right? So you just think about that feeling. You heard it sung correctly. Think about that feeling. We can't really talk about feelings. That's why we do these physical things, to get you to the feeling. All right? I could say, come down on the note now. Don't reach for the note. Come down on the note. And until you feel what it is to come down on the note, you don't know what to do. Right? So do it one more time. That was wonderful, by the way. Doesn't it feel good? It feels good when you sing right. It takes more muscles to sing wrong than it does to sing right. Because it doesn't take a lot of muscles to sing right. Here, it takes this breath here, right? All right, so take a big breath, right hand up, and do it one more time. Ready? Go. Good. Now we're going to do it the other way. So you know what the good feeling is? Put your hand here. This time I want you to go, ooh. Got it? 1, 2, ready, go. Anybody feel a difference? Yeah. What did Grace, tell me how it felt different?
It felt different because it takes, I think, more breath when you have to go up higher like this. Than like
so this is more of a feeling of reaching, right? Like, ooh, which we hear a lot. And you know what? It's not their fault that we hear that a lot. It's our fault. Because we got to get you to that nice feeling. And that was absolutely wonderful. Sit down. Let me turn my sound off because when I get an email, it's beeping over here. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
One of the things
Okay.
one of the things that we
Yeah.
do with our troublemakers when we're talking about, and even in concert choir, we talk about picking a flower instead of coming up and coming over and picking up the flower.
Right.
Instead of when we're trying to help them learn
Right.
to start doing that instead of reaching.
And I tell you what, I was a long way. Somebody made a compliment, I think, to me today. I'm not sure. I was Michael Slaylock. He said, we were talking about, boy, if we'd have known that 20 years ago, or whatever. Well, if I'd have known this 20 years ago, we're all just on this learning continuum. And, you kind of go, duh, why didn't I think about that before? And I don't know if you know Charlene Archibald, or the name. She's kind of a grande dame in choral music in our world. She used to be at Cal State San Diego, and she stands about 7 foot tall, it looks like. But she does a lot, not as active, but everything she does in rehearsal has some physical correlate. And what you want to do is get them to the feeling that way, and then take it away, like we did yesterday with the phrase. Take the hand away, and the phrase remains, right? All this is doing is getting into the feeling, then take the proper way to do it. Yeah, okay. So that was great, huh?
Okay.
But let's...
Everybody from Darla, 1, 2, 3, shift. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
That's amazing. So, there's 2 things I want to talk to you about, because they're kind of, for me, they're rules about making music. Okay? So, again, we want to teach you how to be musicians, at least in choir. Okay? And being a musician as a soloist is a whole different thing. Whatever you do to get, to get the voice of the American Idol or whatever, to get the thing, you just do it. Because you don't have to blend with anybody. You're not a choir then. But let's talk about... they're not using their music on this anyway, are they? Okay, put your music under your chairs for just a minute. So you get that. I want somebody to tell me what the first few words are of this piece. After you do the ooh part, what do you say? Yeah, what is it? Okay, I believe in the sun. So one of those words has more than one note on it. Go over in your mind which of those words that you just said has more than one note. Yes? No. I believe in, yeah. Sun. Right, so sing that with me. Give me a B flat for them to start. Sit nice and tall, position 2. Yes. I'm learning. 1, 2, sing. Right, now, here's a little rule that I have. And this is why I like to put it in terms you understand, because then leadership can develop, and you can say, you know what, that had two notes on it, and anytime you have more than one note on a syllable, follow this now, the syllable is son, right? A one-syllable word, son, whereas believe is a two-syllable word, but even those two syllables only have one note. Anytime you have more than one note on a syllable, which we know the only word in there is son, right? We've got to that point. Anytime you have more than one note, all notes after the first one should be softer than the first, regardless of direction. As a matter of fact, even more so if it goes up. Because what do we often think? If it goes up, it must be louder, right? But not if it's more than one note on the syllable. So, the first note on son should be loud. The second one should be softer. Why? Because that's my rule. Why? I think that's what musicians do. When musicians are thinking musicians, and all good musicians think. And somebody could think this is wonderful. I believe in the sun. Okay. But isn't this more musical? I believe in the sun. Isn't it? Because we've already said the word on the first syllable. I mean, on the first note. So sing that for me. But you still cut off on 3. So, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, go. Right, you're hearers of the word, but you're not doers yet. You still went, son, son. Sing that for me. Son. Yeah, that's it. See, when you sing dynamics, we can hear it. Right? Son. And let it hover till the cutoff. Do it one more time. Ready? Go. Son. Good. Now see if you can put it with the rest of the... Ready? 1, 2, go. Come on. Now, and so what we made it a little better, right? We still got a couple that sang the second syllable, the second note a little louder. But that's one of them, okay? The other thing is I think you need a little more on I. I believe in the song. Got the idea? Because good choirs sing the notes and sing the words. Great choirs sing text. Okay? So if I ask you the two-syllable word, believe. Say believe. Believe. Say it dramatically. Believe. Say it dramatically. Believe. Right. So which syllable gets the accent, first or second? Raise your hand if you know. Huh? Second, exactly. And it kind of clicked. That's how you go. Yeah, second. Right? I believe in the song. Got the idea? Here we go. 1, 2, go. I believe. Yeah, take your right hand. I want you to go. I believe in 1, 2, go. I believe in the song. Good, much better. At least the second syllable wasn't louder. It wasn't as, or the second note on some wasn't louder. It still wasn't as soft as it could be, right? But good enough for today. And love's another one. I believe in love, love. Got the idea? Sing that one. And give me a B flat. 1, 2, 3. And I believe in love. Good. Much better. One more time. 1, 2, go. Here comes another one. And there's another one, right? So what you did is you were anticipating the second note, so you sang the first one soft, you had no place to go. Right? And I believe in God. I have no place to go. And I believe in God. And I'd still like a little more. I tell you what, when you get to the word God, put your right hand over your over your left, okay? When you get to the word God, I want you to, and I believe in God. Got it? 1, 2, go. And I believe in God. Right. So it changed what you did with the second note, and it also changed the vowel big time. It went from God, even though we say G-A-W-D, God, God, God. Say God. God. Say God. God. Say God. God. When I sing, I sing God. When I talk, I say God. When I sing, I say God. Okay? Here we go. One more time. This is not a religious lesson. Here we go. 1, 2, go. And I believe in God. That's it. Okay? So, tell me the lesson we just learned here. What did we just learn? Yeah, put it in words that I can understand, because it has to be simple. Yes, ma'am. That's pretty simple. It's visual. Yeah. Yes, right here.
When you have a word that has 2 notes with 1 syllable, you have to sing the second syllable softer.
Right. Or if it has 5 notes in the syllable, which we found yesterday, that whatever, all notes after the first one are softer. Okay? Unless she tells you something different. Or unless the music says something different. Because oftentimes, on what we call a melisma, which is what we're talking about, more than 1 note on a given syllable, somebody, an arranger, who may know what they're doing, may not know what they're doing, they put a big crescendo on. Well, then you have to do it. Okay? So that was the lesson. I'm trying to find one. Oh, you know what I loved? You know what I loved? But sometimes in the... I don't think you had one person take a breath there. Perfect. Why didn't you take a breath there? Yes, ma'am. Because you crescendo. And also because Mrs. Brown said you don't take a breath there.
What do I do when I don't want you to take a breath? So what do I do? We go over. We draw circles over.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish he had one here, but we'll find one. Seems like all of his 2 notes in a syllable have go down, not go up. But we'll find one somewhere. But also think about those, like someday.
Heart.
Yeah.
My heart.
Excuse me?
My heart.
Where is it?
On page 6.
Page 6?
Ah, 36. Measure 35. Measure 35.
Measure 35, page 6.
My heart. Good point. Where's sopranos? Who's singing the top part? My heart cries. Got it? Let me hear it. 1, 2, go. Yeah, but that was my heart cried. My heart cried. How about my heart cries? Loud, soft, then back loud. Got it? 1, 2, go. Yeah, but then you got timid on the first note, so you had no place to go again. You went, my heart cried. Can't figure out where to go from there. Right? You got to hit that heart loud. Get your hand up and do it again. 1, 2, go. Even more on the first note. My heart cries. Think about a heart crying. It's not like, my heart cries. My heart cries. Got it? 1. And cries, you can sing crescendo as well, right? Because it's a long note. 1, 2, go. Right, you hit the first one loud now, but then you forgot to get soft on the second one. 1, 2. Well, who am I looking at? Who's singing that? Raise your hand if you're singing that. All of you, yeah. You're like maybe you too, yeah. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, go. What's your name? Owen, stand up. I want you to sing that like you know how to sing it like musicians do. Which means you hit the first note loud, the second one soft, and then when you get to cries, you're going to crescendo because that's a long note. 1, 2, go. Good. But you kind of hiccuped on heart. Give it a little more on heart. My heart, heart. the little eighth note. My heart cries. 1, 2, go.
My heart cries.
Good, good. You got the first part now. Get the crescendo in front. It's hard to think about two things at once, isn't it? And let me tell you, it gets harder as you get older. 1, 2, go. Good. Who else thinks they can do it? Who else thinks they can do that? Yeah. What's your name?
Marna.
Marna?
Yeah.
How do you spell that? Marna. Beautiful. Get up, Marna. Here. 1, 2, go. Good. And if you would, one second. Where's that? You know what? Don't play the note that's written in the piano part. Just play the G, F, whatever. Don't play the B, G, B flat thing that he's doing to make sure they're singing the right note. Okay? One more time, Marna. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. 2, 3. Good. Lovely notes. But can you make the first one louder than the second one? My heart. Maybe even more important, make the second one really, really soft. 1, 2, go. Better, better. Now make the first one a little louder. You get the second one soft. 1, 2, go. That's it. Do it one more time. Make a habit out of that. 1, 2, go. Good. Now do it with Owen. See what I mean? Here we go. 1, 2, go. Right. The second one soft enough. Okay. One more time. 1, 2, go. Good. Now you're all of you. Stand. 1. If you sing that part. 1, 2, go. No, not heart, but heart. Got it? 1, 2, go. Good. And that's about as good as it's going to get today, right? Okay? Have a seat. And sometimes it's not easy to understand these things, but it's hard to do them. You know, because to get it from here to the voice, thank you for pointing that out, because that's a whole different thing. Unfortunately, that's eighth notes. Where it really rears its head is if it's 2 half notes. And they go, da, ah, right? And they'd have a lot more time to prepare. This is pretty tough. Da. Got the idea? Good. Say the word shining. Say it dramatically. Shining. Say it like somebody's going to give you $100 if you say it like. Ready? Okay. Say shining. Go. Shining. Is the accent on the first or second syllable? Raise your hand if you know. Yes. Close. First. Right. So I want you to sing, even when it is not shining. That second syllable can almost be non-existent. Okay? Actually, in the recording studio, they call that swallowing the second syllable. Shine, shine. Got the idea? So it's almost non-existent. Here we go. Sing, even when it is not shining. 2, go. Even when it is not shining. Oh! That was worth the trip.
Yeah, that was good.
That was worth the trip. Do it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, go.
Even when it is not shining.
Whoa. That's sit up and listen type stuff. Shining is beautiful. They're singing the right notes. They're my kids. I love them. Right? Applause, applause, applause. But when you go shine, you communicate. Why? Because those inscriptions on the wall there in Cologne during the Nazi takeover are pretty meaningful, right? And they're not going to go, I believe in the sun even when it is not shining. I believe in love even when there's no one there. I believe in the sun even when it is not shining. Shining, shining. Do you hear the difference? So, that's why I fell in love with choral music, folks. I'm a trained band director. But when I had that first choir of 17, you know, 10 girls, 7 guys, 6 thought they were basses. And all of a sudden, text drove everything. Okay, nothing against bands, but we have to kind of figure it out. When we do it with the band, we have to figure out what the important stuff is. With this, we know what the important stuff is because it's all in the text. Right? And it's amazing to me how a lot of really fine choirs that I hear at ACDA conventions and all the muckety-muck stuff, it's like, did you ever look at the text? You know, you're just teaching vocal technique. You're not teaching communication. Okay. With that, I'm going to shut up for a while. Anybody have anything to add, please? Yes, Mario.
Two things.
2 things. Come down here.
Hi, Katie.
Tell them where you're from.
I'm from Colombia. My name is Mario.
Okay, you have to show them on the globe where you come
Oh my God. Okay. This right over here. Okay. This is Colombia. It's a place where the coffee is awesome. Yeah.
And the beaches.
My dad would love to go to Colombia.
Oh. Okay. First of all, I'm really impressed with the really great stuff with this piece. I just like to review something that maybe you didn't do it, or I don't know why you didn't do it right, because you sing really well. But let's talk about measure. Can you hold your chord? Measure 48 and 47. So we have the melody, I believe, and we have a line of. Can you give me the line? Yeah. Yes. No. Okay. That line has to be a little bit more softer because in the down line you have the melody. So let's try it one time from measure 46 with the piano, okay? Ready?
Why?
Sorry. There's a return now. Sorry.
Understand?
My fault. Okay. 46. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Nice. A little bit more with the melody. I believe in, and a little bit less. I know it's a high note, it's an E flat. With that, all has to be a little bit back, okay? A little bit softer, okay? Can we do it? Again, the same. 1, 2. Okay, let's try something. Let's try something. Just the line that is the O. Okay? Raise your hand, the line that is doing the O part. Ooh, sorry.
No.
I was thinking in Spanish. Sorry. Ooh part.
Man, Caroline.
Friend.
Man, Caroline, you're on part 2 on this.
Just the part that is 48. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we can think before that O, before the first first beat. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. On 4, you're going to open your mouth. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yes, like this. This is like try. Okay, again. 1, 2, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, a little bit better. Wow. Okay, now let's try it with the line, with the melody below, okay? 47. Okay, and the same for the next full part. So we have to prepare in the fourth, okay? 1, 2, 3, my mouth. Without sound, okay? Oh, it was too loud. 2, 3. Oh. So the first attack should be like almost without sounding. 1, 2, 3. You see, you appear. You don't attack. You appear.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2. Yes. That's it.
Oh, that's better.
That's it. Okay. Can we try again from 40? 47. Sorry, 94. Again. Better. Okay, that's it. Nice. Nice. Another thing is 65 measure. It's just piano, but then you're looking the 67. You have the melody. It's kind of different. It's like the last part of the song. What do you think? Do you think you did it well the first time? Or you can do it better? It was something wrong with that part on 67.
Yeah, I remember.
What do you think? Anybody think that could be better?
We didn't go down.
What's your name?
Sammy.
Sandra.
Sammy.
Sammy, okay.
We didn't go down to the better.
You went down,
We didn't go down to the better. We stayed the same.
okay.
Dynamics.
Dynamics, okay, continue. Somebody else? Sophia? Mm, okay. But I think that you were like
Answer.
on the exact, okay, you were on page, but not like secure,
Yeah.
because it's like a different material. Well, it's different, the line, I think. So what I want to do is to listen to the piano, because the piano has like the same melody that you're going to sing after, okay? So let's hear just the piano on 64. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So it's, I think we're on the different key, and you have to listen. Dun, dun, ding. That will give you like a clue for landing on the next key, okay? Dun, dun, ding. Yes? That's it? Dun, dun, ding. Okay? You have to listen that on the piano, and then you're going to repeat the same for the last part. Okay? Again, the same.
learn from that. Okay? Go back to what Mario was saying at bottom of page 7. Okay? The point was that the accompaniment should always be the accompaniment and the solo should always be the solo. Okay? So that's kind of a given. Even if it's not written with dynamics. You know that the altos, or the part 2, have the melody, yes? And the ooh is the accompaniment, or as we sometimes call it, the ostinati, the counter melody. All right? But why did they hesitate to come in on 3 for Mario? Let's go back to what we talked about yesterday. That everything we do is going to be a cue for them to come in or not. All right? And we're just all in this together. All right? Because we're learning from each other. One of the main points I'd like you to get home with is, you know what? I got to change some stuff to get them to do what I want them to do without having to tell them everything, and then I don't have it in my gesture. Right? Because we're all just creatures of whatever we see we do, and they do the same thing. So if they come in on 3, what's the important beat? 2. Right? So let's try that and see if that has any effect. All right, you're on page 7. You don't really need it. Put your music down for a minute, because you have this memorized anyway. But we're on the part, yeah, you can put it down gently under your chair. Thank you. Yes, there we go, like we've been trained. Very good. All right, so we're at the part where we go like this. I believe in the, got it, and got the idea? Here we go. So I'm gonna conduct them one way and see what happens. I'm gonna conduct them another way and see what happens. Okay, here we go. I want you to start right at measure 46. That's got a CD marking. I'm sorry, I missed that. But you're not going to sing there. They're going to come in just like you did before. Okay, 46 is where you start. Okay. Ready? And. You don't know what to do you? Because I didn't give you anything. Right? Even though the responsibility is really yours, because someday you're going to sing under a conductor that has no clue what they're doing in a professional setting. You know, have you ever watched symphony conductors and watched a symphony play? Yes. There's no relationship to what the symphony conductor is doing. They played Beethoven's Ninth so many times, he could just go like this. And a lot of times they do, right? I ask these pros, I go, how do you follow? They go, we don't follow, we just play. But you need to follow. Let's try it one more time, same thing. Right. So the fact that you came in timid wasn't my fault that time. It's just that you had not come in very confident the last couple of times. And now you're going to come in more confident, right? 1. And I love the point that Mario brought up, because we haven't brought that up yet. What is your vowel when you come in on your first word? Raise your hand if you know. Listen to the question. What is the vowel that you sing when you first come in? Raise your hand if you know. Yes? I is the word. Ah is the vowel, right? So when you breathe in on 2, which is the one I'm going to give you before you come in on ah, you're going to go I. When you breathe in on 4, before you come in on 1, 2, 3, what, right? You're going to breathe in on what vowel? What vowel do you sing? Duh. Ooh, right? Matter of fact, you sing ooh, right? You're going to breathe in on ooh. 2, 3. Ooh. Got the idea? Here we go. So, I. Same place. Lovely piano playing, by the way. Now, what was the point that Mr. Mario was trying to make to you? That you have to be softer than this. Okay? Even more important to breathe in on that vowel. And you know what? It's not all their fault. You're not singing loud enough. Okay? Here we go. And same thing.
Time.
when they overdo what we ask them to do. All right, I was about to stop. We would want to stop and say, no, not quite that much. But you know what? That's okay. Because they're going to regress, as we say in statistics, they're going to regress back to the mean a little bit. And they're going to start singing a little louder. And then finally it's going to be in the right balance. Great, great. I think that was it, except same thing at measure 10 where he was talking. Now I want to add one thing to that, and I don't want to beat this horse to death, because we worked this through until, you know, it may have diminishing returns, but, okay, you don't need to look at page 10. You don't need to look at measure 67, but it's that last part he was talking about. Give me a C to F, please. Maybe someday. All right, so what do you think I'm going to talk about on Someday and Sunshine? You know, we've been together so long now, you should be able to teach the class for me. What are we going to talk about on Someday and Sunshine? Yeah. And tell me about loud and soft on Someday. Let's just take that one.
Like someday.
Right, like someday. Yeah. Which one gets the accent? Some. Right. And there's another one where the second syllable goes up, which makes them prone to making that accent, that wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, right? Maybe someday, may there someday. Now, tell me about sunshine. Sunshine. Tell me about sunshine. Yeah.
The same thing, sun has the accent.
Sun has the accent and shine doesn't. What is your name? Lucy. Hmm?
Lucy.
Oh,
Is it Lucy?
Yes.
Okay, Lucy. And your name again?
Sammy.
Sammy. Stand up. Now let's see if we can put all that brain power into the music. I want you all to sing, may there someday be sunshine. And I want you to make it so dramatic that maybe we don't even want it that much. But show me that you know what those syllabic accents are. One, C, give them a C. And they're just going to come right in. 1, 2, go. You're fine. Yeah, go ahead. Do you know what you're doing now? Do it again. Take 2. Here we go. Make sure that some gets the accent, because you got to come back from there. You don't sing some loud enough, you have no place to come back from, right? 1, 2. Okay, one more time. I think you can do a little more than that. It's just us in the room. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, go. Lovely. Can we all do that now? Have a seat. Matter of fact, stand up. Try that one more time. So sit down. Stand up. Perfect. Here we go. Yeah, but I don't hear it. I just got to be honest with you. You don't want me to be anything but honest, do you? I heard, may there someday be sunshine. I love you. I love everything about you, but I don't love those accents. May there someday be sunshine. Make those second syllables so soft, I can't hardly hear it. Got it? 1, 2, go. Let's use the hands again. That was much better. Use the hands. Here we go. 1, 2, go. One more time with the hands. 1, 2, go. Now without the hands. 1, 2, go. Yeah. And if every one of you would do that, the text would come alive and be dramatic. Let's get to the next song.
Okay.
Please. Good job. Give them a nice round.